Hi, welcome to today's town hall. I'm Kim Tavares. I'm the Associate Vice President for Alumni Relations and the Director for the campaign for Love, for Honor, for Those Who Will. It is my pleasure today to conduct this town hall and introduce you to Jill Gaby, our Interim Vice President for University Advancement. Thank you to all of you who submitted questions in advance. Jill became our Interim Vice President for University Advancement in July 2025. She is new to this role, but she is definitely not new to Miami. She is here today to talk about the campaign, our historic time at this university as we pursue $1 billion. Jill, thank you so much for joining us here today. I could read your bio, but I thought it would be a lot better if you could tell them about your Miami experience and your Miami story.
Of course. Thanks so much, Kim, for the introduction. Honestly, I sit here today feeling so honored to serve in this role as interim vice president. We're at a really pivotal part of the campaign, so to keep this momentum going is extremely important. And I have seen individuals in this division really step up, lean in, do more. And I could not be more proud of the people I get to walk alongside with. So I'm really happy to be in this role. And you're right, I am not new to Miami. I am a proud graduate of Miami University. I am a Miami merger. And I'm the proud parent of my daughter who graduated from the Farmer School of Business 3.5 years ago. So that is, Miami's very much in my blood and my family's blood. Both my siblings went here as well. My advancement career, well, first of all, I've been here 21 years. This month is my anniversary. So, and I was hired in 2005 to be the Regional Director of Development for Columbus and Northeast Ohio. I was the first regional fundraiser hired in this program that we still have now called the National Team. And I continued in that role, and I was promoted a couple of different times and eventually oversaw the entire team. At one point, I oversaw a team of 8 regional fundraisers. And then from there, I pivoted into another role about 2.5 years ago, where I was the Associate Vice President for Operations Management, which really allowed me to see how the division runs. So I was looking at the operations every single day through the lens of raising $1 billion by June 30th, 2027, and making sure that we had the infrastructure in place to do that. So people often ask me why I've stayed at Miami for 21 years. And first of all, I care first and foremost about our students, our Miami community, and doing right by our donors. What I also really care about is the Miami work family and the work that we collaborate on and the impact that we're having on our students and faculty every single day.
And we are so thankful to have your leadership and experience with us as we get into the final stretch of this historic $1 billion campaign. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to give an update on where things stand with the campaign. We have some questions about impact and scholarship. So I thought we'd just kick off before we get to the questions, if you could just level set where we are right now in the campaign.
So today, we're sitting at $822 million towards our $1 billion goal. So we're over 82% of the goal. We have less than 18 months before the campaign ends on June 30th, 2027. So today we're going to talk about what's already happening because of this generosity and what we're focused on next.
$822 million is so impressive. And there are so many reasons and ways that we got there. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely, Kim. So this first slide demonstrates the power in numbers, both in giving and the number of gifts. The work we do is very much a science. So while we do track gifts by certain levels of giving, we also really care about the participation of our alumni in the campaign and the number of gifts we receive. We do have to have larger gifts in order to raise $1 billion. But the great part about this campaign is that there's power in cumulative giving. It's principal gifts. Those gifts are $5 million or more. Leadership gifts are between $1 and $5 million. Major gifts are at $100,000 or more, and special are between $50 and $100, and it all stacks together to make an impact. There is a place in this campaign for every Miamian, and every gift counts to make a difference.
Absolutely. That's what has me so excited about it as well. I see things like our move in Miami, where gifts at all levels to any area of the university really do come together with those larger gifts to get us to our goal. As we think a little bit about what other types of things we're funding here, I've mentioned some of the things with Move in Miami, but there's some really kind of big buckets here if we want to look at where that money is going right now.
Absolutely, Kim. I want to talk about the areas of impact that we've had in this campaign. Scholarships and academic support are the largest areas that we've had impact. So when people ask what the campaign is really about, the biggest answer is students. And that's why scholarships are such a central priority. Affordability for our students is one of our number one priorities. So we put a lot of effort into this category. Equally important is investing in academic strength, learning spaces, and the long term stability of Miami. So think about our faculty support, academic programs, experiential learning. It's no wonder that our faculty are ranked each year top nationally for teaching excellence, and this is something we are quite proud of. We must continue to invest in them.
And those academic programs are truly what make the Miami experience for our students. So that's a lot. What is our plan to get us to the end here, to the $1 billion?
As I mentioned earlier, we have a clear pathway and a plan to complete the campaign by June 30th, 2027. We have almost 260 million in planned asks across 452 proposals just in this fiscal year. And we're building the pipeline for next fiscal year as well. I am quite confident that we will have the pipeline to accomplish our $1 billion campaign over the next 18 months and achieve this historic accomplishment.
And those numbers really matter because they translate to real students and real opportunities and ultimately long term strength for Miami University. So, thank you for giving us that overview. I wanted to go into some of the questions that we had, and one was about scholarships. As you mentioned, a clear campaign priority. Tell me about how we're focusing on that in the campaign.
Absolutely, Kim. Scholarships shape who can say yes to Miami. Scholarships do not have to be huge to matter. Sometimes it's just a few $1,000s is the difference between staying enrolled or not. Basically, there are two types of scholarships. The first one are our need-based scholarships. That is affordability and access for students. And the other type are merit-based. These are really competitive scholarships so we can attract our top students. Three-fourths of the Miami student body receive some form of financial assistance, and 1 in 6 qualify for Pell Grants. So, the bottom line financial support for our students matters in a really tremendous way. When donors ask what matters most, scholarships are often the clearest, fastest impact. So, let's talk about some of the examples of these two types of scholarships. Class scholarships are a powerful example of collective impact at Miami. When alumni from a graduating class come together to give their shared support, opens doors for students who might not otherwise be able to say yes to Miami, creating a living legacy that reflects the values of that class.
And that's what I love about scholarships is it offers that access to Miami. It makes that Miami experience possible for so many different types of students. But impact goes well beyond that. It's impacts their time here. There are other institutional priorities. Tell me a little bit more about impact beyond scholarship of the campaign.
Of course, Kim. In addition to scholarships, hands on experiences are a big priority. So think about things like experiential learning, study away, study abroad, internships, and academic experiences outside of the classroom. Another big focus is academic excellence, where we focus on our faculty, academic program support, institutes, curriculum, and learning spaces. And of course, we want future stability. This includes endowment growth, long term investments, and facilities that strengthen the student experience.
And those are all things that are essential to the long term success of Miami University. And the great thing about a campaign, though, is there are some things that we can see right now and the impact that they've made. We've had some amazing gifts that have left a very physical footprint on campus. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yes, I have some wonderful examples that I want to share with you today. First of all, we have the Mitchell Sustainability Park. Sharon and Graham Mitchell from the class of 1973 have made a transformational $5 million gift towards sustainability at Miami. When it is finished this spring, the Mitchell Sustainability Park will feature two ground mounted solar panel installations that will drastically reduce the university's carbon footprint and will support the university's goal of becoming carbon neutral by 2040. The energy savings the solar fields generate will be invested in future sustainability initiatives at the university. So, this is a gift that will keep on giving. With a gift of $1,000 or more, alumni and donors can sponsor a solar panel and be recognized by name on signage at the entrance of the solar field. I'm also excited to share the McVeigh Data Science Building. Rick McVeigh from the class of 1981 made a $20 million gift that made possible the construction of the McVeigh Data Science Building. Within this building, we are preparing students to turn data into decisions, equipping them with hands-on experience in analytics, coding, and problem solving that employers are demanding across every industry. Another gift we're really proud of is the Altman Institute for the Humanities. John Altman from the class of 1960 has made a generous matching gift available for donors who invest in the Altman Institute for the Humanities. The Altman Institute will be housed in Bachelor Hall, currently undergoing a 2-year renovation process that will consolidate space, modernize classrooms, and create an environment for collaboration across the humanities.
So it's a really exciting time on campus. It's so fun to see all of these things take shape. But that's just where we are now. There's even some things that we're looking forward to in the future.
Absolutely. So, our Thrive initiative, which is our new strategic plan, includes an arena project potentially. A lot of you have already heard about it or read about it. The conversation is ongoing, and the Board of Trustees will be considering it. If it moves forward, philanthropy would play a significant role and will be transparent about what support would be needed and for what use.
I know that there were a lot of questions about the arena, so thank you for talking about that.
Of course.
I wanted to move on to some of the other questions that we received in advance. One was about the endowment. Where do we stand? How do we compare to other institutions? What can you tell me about that?
Simply framing this, the endowment is about stability, supporting students and programs year after year. Miami's endowment crossed the $1 billion threshold in 2025 and is now amongst the 150 largest endowments in the country. We're really proud of that. We protect donor intent, work to stretch and grow every dollar for maximum impact. For the calendar year 2025, the endowment earned an estimated 19.5% and is now approaching $1.2 billion in value. We've had tremendous success and growth with our endowment.
As you said, that is an amazing achievement to be one of only 150 schools with that level of endowment. So, congratulations.
We're in good company.
We are. So, as we transition into some other questions here, I'll be honest, we've talked about all the good stuff. But, there are definitely some things going on in higher education right now that have been hitting the news that maybe aren't as positive as you talk about the competitiveness in higher education, dwindling trust, declining enrollments, massive changes in state and federal legislation.
Absolutely, Kim. There is no doubt Miami's been impacted by the recent dialogue in higher education. But we know who we are and what we are excellent at. Miami's strength is about the student experience and the outcomes of this. We have faculty who know and care about our students. We have an incredibly strong job placement rate and acceptance to post undergrad programs. We have incredibly strong and powerful alumni network. And I want to point out that state support is a really small slice of Miami's operating budget, under 10%. So philanthropy truly matters.
And speaking of the state, one of the questions we had for maybe those that don't live within the state of Ohio is regarding a recent bill that was passed called SB1. It was in relation to diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in Ohio. How are we handling that?
Thanks for asking, Kim. I know this is on people's minds. Miami is compliant with Senate Bill 1 and making required organizational changes. From an advancement perspective, our work stays centered on student opportunity, especially scholarships, and on honoring donor intent while operating within the law.
Okay. And so the final question, and this one doesn't get any easier here, but thinking about our current economy, how are we approaching fundraising right now in an uncertain economy?
Yes, Kim, let me lead with my experience at Miami. I was a fundraiser during the 2008 crash. I was also a fundraiser during the pandemic, and we got through it. We know this economy has people watching their budgets, and we feel that too. So we're really focusing on flexibility and for people to give at a level that they feel comfortable with. We offer multi-year pledges that they can spread out. Matching gifts are available with certain programs. Plan giving through estate gifts for those who want to create a legacy without changing today's cash flow is another option. We're being thoughtful about what we ask, when we ask, and making sure donors can support what matters most to them.
Miami has been here since 1809. We have gotten through many things before. We will continue to get through this, and we'll do it together. So, looking ahead, what are you excited about for this coming year?
Well, we are going to be soon entering the all alumni national phase of this campaign. So I'm excited to share with a much broader audience what we have accomplished in the campaign and how others can get involved. I also want to see alumni and friends get engaged in campus and regional events that will be coming up in this next phase of the campaign. Everyone has a place, and I want them to find it. For me personally, it's walking alongside my colleagues in advancement to achieve this goal and celebrate their successes. There are so many of them, and I am so proud of this division.
Thank you, Jill, for your time today. I so appreciate your candid conversation about the campaign and the excitement that you have to get us to the $1 billion. And thank you all for joining us and for the questions that you submitted in advance. If there are any campaign priorities that you heard about today that you'd like to learn more about and how you can contribute, Jill and I are both available. Our contact information is on the web. Thank you so much for joining us. Love and honor.